Alright guys, I'm here for our very first safety video for Makerspace. This one is going to cover just basics for Makerspace and things that are just good safety procedures when we're doing anything here in the space itself. Okay? First thing I want to talk about, a little bit about expectations with our tool certification safety videos. The first thing is I expect you in your Makerspace notebook to have a page of notes anytime you take a certification video course. Okay, the point in that is that so as the year progresses, before you use a tool or before you get yourself into trouble, you can always go back and review your notes and remember what is good to do and what is not so good to do. Okay, the other big thing about our tool certification process is in order to be safe with over 300 kids in the building that will be using tools of various levels of difficulty, you got to have your Makerspace notebook here in the lab with you at all times. What's going to happen is as you finish a safety certification course and you pass the test and you show that Ms. Craig and I or other lab administrators that you know how to use the tool, you're going to get a colored sticker that's going to go on the back of your Makerspace notebook. That colored sticker is going to correspond to the tools that you're allowed to use. For example, for hand tools, it might be a pink sticker. And hand tools would be things like hammers or screwdrivers or wrenches or pliers. Well, if we don't see that Makerspace notebook, we don't know what you're certified on. And if you don't have your Makerspace notebook, you cannot use tools that day. So if you forget it, you're not responsible. That day, you're stuck to basic school type tools. Now on to the basics of safety. The very first basic for our Makerspace safety is if you're using any kind of tool here at Stateside, you have to be wearing eyewear. We have made sure that every student in the Makerspace at one time can have these very fashionable, high quality impact glasses. These glasses are going to protect your eyes if something chips off and flies towards your eyes, or to stop you from getting sawdust in your eyes, or some other kind of accident, because you never know what could happen. And safety has to come first before we get to building. Okay? Mine are fogging up because it's a little warm in here, so I'm going to put them on my forehead. But I'm not using tools, so that's cool right now. The second thing is if you're going to be sawing, if you're going to be doing any kind of heavy-duty cutting, and by heavy-duty cutting, I mean with something larger than the scissors, we have safety gloves. Now, these aren't Superman skin. They're not going to prevent you from getting cut, but it does offer some level of protection so that we don't hurt ourselves. Okay? They slip on nice and snug, then you can get to making. All right? If you are doing anything with the saw, I better see these gloves on you, or you're going to have your right to use saws or heavy cutting materials taken away. The other thing, a couple things that you need to know is when you're in the Makerspace lab, moving forward, your hair ladies and boys that have long hair, it's cool bro, always must be pulled back. If we have our long dangling hair in front of us when we're using a drill or we're using some other kind of tool, that could create a safety hazard that could end up in you getting hurt. And we don't want that. So on Makerspace days, I need you to have your hair pulled back. Also, in Makerspace, you got to have proper footwear. You got to treat it like PE, guys. When you're here in the lab, I don't want you wearing open-toed flip-flops, open-toed sandals. I know they're cute, but oh well. We got to have our toes and our heels covered with at least tennis shoes, Converse, something, okay? We're not using super duty heavy stuff that could cut off your toe or anything like that, but we are using things that could break a toe if you dropped a hammer on it, and sometimes accidents happen. So we always have to take the safest precautions possible. No open-toed shoes from here on out in Makerspace. Also, going along with that idea is no dangly earrings. If your hair can get in the way of a tool, so can dangly earrings. So on Makerspace Day, if you're wearing dangly earrings, I need you to take them out when you come into lab or leave them in the classroom. That would probably be the best bet. Right along with the loose stuff that can get caught in clothing, I don't need loose drapey clothing. No shawls in Makerspace, no scarves in Makerspace. Anything that can get caught up on a tool or get pinned under something that could possibly cause you to get hurt, we can't have. Just normal t-shirt, not super baggy, shorts, jeans, not super baggy, and closed-toed shoes. Okay? Most important is no shenanigans. We can have no horseplay in our makerspace because kids will be using tools. We'll have kids with hammers, we're going to have kids with mallets, we're going to have kids that might be sawing something using wrenches and pliers, and even scissors can be dangerous if we're not using it appropriately. Any kind of inappropriate use of tools or any kind of horseplay is going to restrict what you're going to be allowed to do here at Makerspace. Our intention is for you to get creative and for you to build and for you to have a good time doing it and for you to learn while you're doing all this cool stuff. But we can't do that if we're being unsafe. This is video 1. Make sure you have everything we just went over in your notebook. That way we know moving forward that you've at least seen the basic safety video. Our next video is going to cover hand tools. See you soon.